Welcome back to the channel, everyone. You're tuning into Rahasya Gatha. Now, if you've been following along, you know we've already uploaded episodes 1, 2, and 3, setting up the foundation for this ancient epic. But today we are jumping right into episode 4. And honestly, this is where things get really intense. Imagine a world where dark magic, profound royal duties, and actual literal demons are just everyday reality. In this explainer, we're going to explore the dramatic return of the princes and their very first absolutely terrifying test, the slaying of Tadaka. So, let's get into it.
But before we get to the monsters, I want you to think about something. Think about a parent's love. Can a father's deep, almost blinding affection for his child actually become an obstacle to doing the right thing? Like, can love literally get in the way of your ultimate duty, your dharma? That's the massive emotional conflict driving today's story. We're looking at a huge clash between a father's boundless love and the really harsh reality of being a king.
So our story today doesn't actually start with monsters or conflict. It starts with pure, unfiltered joy. The city of Ayodhya is absolutely going wild. After years, and I mean years, of grueling discipline and mastering every ancient art at the Gurukul, the four princes, Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrugna, are finally home. Imagine the scene. Flowers raining down from the balconies, the energy in the streets is just electric. You can literally feel the overwhelming relief and joy of the parents seeing their boys return as full-grown men.
And right in the middle of this massive celebration, there's this incredibly emotional moment. Sage Vishwamitra, the master who practically forged these boys into warriors, hands them back to King Dasharath and the queens. He says to them, "I return your treasures. A forest dweller made them undergo severe penance. Gather them in your motherly embrace." It's a beautiful, proud moment, right? But if you listen closely, there's a subtle warning there. He's basically saying, hey, these aren't the fragile little kids who left your palace years ago.
It actually sets up this really fascinating contrast. On one hand, you have the palace mothers. Naturally, they want their sons to be comfortable, soft, smelling like sandalwood, and completely protected from the world. But the guru knows what's out there. They know the brutal reality of war. They've trained these princes, so their bodies are as unbreakable as a diamond, quite literally built to shatter enemy swords. It's that classic tension. A parent's love demands softness, but the real world requires steel.
And that steel is about to be tested. Because while Ayodhya is busy throwing flowers, a really dark, terrifying threat is spreading through the distant forests. We're talking about monstrous demons, specifically Subahu and Marich. These guys are turning sacred groves into their personal hunting grounds. They're deliberately sabotaging the sages' spiritual and scientific research by dumping blood and decay all over their sacred fires. It's grotesque. And the worst part is, the sages are completely helpless. Because of their strict spiritual vows, if they give in to anger to fight back or even just curse these demons, they instantly destroy their own spiritual purity. They are stuck.
So, desperate to save everything they've worked for, the great Sage Vishwamitra travels straight to the royal court of Ayodhya. Now, King Dasharath is the picture of an ideal monarch, and he's still riding high on the euphoria of his sons coming home. So he makes a massive, fateful promise. He tells the sage, "Ask for anything, and I shall fulfill it, even at the cost of my life." Oh boy, it's one of those sweeping, overly generous vows that you just know is going to cost him big time.
Because right after he says that, Vishwamitra drops a request that just sucks the air out of the entire throne room. He looks the king dead in the eye and says, "I have come to ask for your Ram. Give me Ram and our protection will be assured." I mean, just imagine the sheer icy panic gripping Dasharath in that moment. He literally just got his son back minutes ago, and now this sage is asking him to send the boy into a deadly, monster-infested forest? No way!
And Dasharath's reaction? It is definitely not the reaction of a cool, stoic king. It's the raw, unfiltered panic of a terrified dad. He straight up refuses. He cries out, "I will not send my little Ram. He is just a boy. He doesn't understand the deceitful warfare of demons. I will personally take my entire army and wipe them out." In that split second, the mighty King Dasharath is completely gone, replaced entirely by an overly attached, terrified father.
Well, Vishwamitra does not take this well. He is absolutely furious. He sternly reminds Dasharath about the flawless legacy of his ancestors. He brings up kings like Harishchandra, a guy who literally sacrificed his wife, his son, and his entire kingdom just to keep a single promise. Vishwamitra warns him that breaking a sacred vow just because he can't let go of his kid is going to bring eternal shame to his entire bloodline.
And to top it off, the sage threatens to just turn around and leave Ayodhya completely empty-handed.
Things are about to completely boil over, but then Guru Vashishta steps in. He pulls the king aside and gives him a very calm, sobering reality check. He tells Dasharath, look, Ram is no ordinary boy. He has come to turn the tide of eras and history. Give Ram to him. In this lies everyone's welfare. Vashishta is trying to make Dasharath see the bigger picture here, that this isn't some cruel punishment. It's actually Ram's ultimate destiny calling.
Which brings us right back to that question we asked at the beginning, right? It's the ultimate internal struggle. You have the weeping father, whose heart is breaking at the thought of losing his boy, pitted against the dutiful king, who knows he absolutely has to honor his word for the greater good of the world. And ultimately, duty wins. With a completely shattered heart, Dasharath finally allows Ram, who is joined by his fiercely loyal brother Lakshman, to leave the safety of the palace with the sage.
So let's look at how wildly their world changes in just a few days. Day 1, they are leaving behind the total, absolute security and luxury of the Ayodhya palace. Day 2, they are plunging deep into a dense, completely alien and unpredictable wilderness following the sage. And by day 3, the landscape is completely unrecognizable. They step into this desolate, cursed wasteland where literally nothing grows, the air feels dead, and you just know real danger is lurking in every single shadow.
And the undisputed ruler of this creepy wasteland is their very first target, Tadaka. Now, calling her a monster feels like an understatement. Thanks to an ancient curse, she is a terrifying demoness with the sheer, brute strength of 1,000 elephants. Think about that for a second. She single-handedly took what used to be thriving, prosperous cities and turned them into a massive, silent graveyard. The rule here is simple. No one who enters her territory ever leaves.
Suddenly, out of nowhere, the ambush begins. But Tadaka doesn't just run at them. She uses this dark, highly manipulative magic. The sky starts raining heavy stones and this blinding dust while she continuously shifts forms. She's turning invisible, striking violently from the shadows. For Ram and Lakshman, who were trained in standard, honorable combat rules, this chaotic, deceitful style of warfare is a total shock. They're completely in uncharted territory here. To make matters worse, the battle is dragging on, and the light is starting to fade. The sun is going down. Sage Vishwamitra sees this and realizes they're about to be in major trouble. He shouts out a dire warning. The sun is setting. At night, the dark magic of these demons multiplies exponentially. If the sun goes down, she will be unstoppable. It is my command, slay her immediately.
Hearing his guru's command, and knowing that obeying it is his ultimate dharma, Ram doesn't hesitate for a second. He draws his bow, locks onto his target right in the middle of all that magical chaos, and releases a single devastating arrow. It strikes true, instantly taking down the terrifying Tadaka. Boom. Just like that, in one swift motion, Ram has completed his very first, seemingly impossible task.
So, Ram has defeated Tadaka and passed his first major test. But as the dust settles, a pretty chilling reality sets in. If this demoness was just guarding the borderlands, what kind of older, darker horrors are waiting for them deeper inside that cursed forest? What on earth is going to happen when they finally run into Subahu and Marich? Well, you'll just have to wait to find out. As I mentioned, I'm putting this explainer series together for my channel, Rahasya Gatha, and I really need your support to keep the story going. If you enjoyed episode 4, please make sure to hit that like button, drop a comment down below with your thoughts, and subscribe to Rahasya Gatha so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.